Hi, this is Roy from wsnacademy, where I talk about all things staffing. So today I want to talk to you about say you're a nurse and so you want to start your own staffing agency. You've been thinking about it, you've been dabbling with it, and it's very difficult because let's say you're working for an existing staffing agency. Maybe you're on a 13-week assignment, or you're working for a staffing agency. So on this video, I'm talking specifically that scenario. I'm not talking about if you are currently working as a nurse for a hospital. I'm talking about if you're working for a staffing agency or a travel agency, and you're at a facility. You've been there for a while. You've made friendships, and let's say the nurse manager knows you very well, or the CCO. Let's just say you've made really good inroads and they really like your work. And either you've mentioned that you're interested in starting your own staffing agency, or the facility or the manager has approached you. And you've been thinking about it. You know there's good money in it. You know that they will give you the contract. So, should you do it? I will say, well, it really depends. It depends on a couple of factors. The first thing I will tell you is, again, what I'm going to talk about right now is, I want to preface by saying I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving you legal advice. But you have to read the contract that you signed with the staffing agency or the travel agency. Sometimes the contract will say that there is a non-compete clause on there, meaning that they sometimes try to enforce where you cannot work at that facility for a period of time. I'll give you an example. I worked for a staffing agency for about 4 or 5 years. So in that time, I went to a lot of hospitals, a lot of clinics, a lot of imaging centers. Needless to say, when I eventually left this company and was trying to get a job, I received a letter from the agency that I worked for, because obviously who I was looking for work with called them as a reference. So the letter was from the attorney of the staffing agency, saying that I cannot work there for a period of 1 year because that's the contract that I signed. Well, let me tell you that was really a concern for me, and I went and I sought legal advice, and my attorney basically told me it would be very difficult for the staffing agency to enforce this, being that they cannot keep you from having viable employment. Needless to say, I applied, I got the job, nothing ever happened. So it's just something to be aware of, and I don't want you to be frightened or be intimidated by other staffing agencies, especially if they have a large presence there, or a large contract. The likelihood that they're going to push this is very small. It's kind of like they're gonna gain pennies to lose dollars, but just something to be aware of. And if you do pursue it, don't make sure you let them know. Just to keep it down low, and it's not something that you really want to brag about and rub in their face. And you're not doing anything illegal, but it's sometimes in the contract, and it's something you have to be aware of. So the second part is, should you do it as far as signing the contract? Because I'm assuming this would be your first contract. This would be your first legitimate staffing agency contract. I say do it, and this is why. The opportunity to get a contract is one of the most challenging facets of business development for any new staffing agency. What I mean by that is, the biggest challenge for new staffing agencies is getting that very first contract, getting past that gatekeeper and getting that contract signed. You already in there. You're already in a position where they like you and they're going to sign the contract for you. Now, obviously, your prices are going to be lower. That's okay because it's your first contract. You have low overhead. You're probably going to work it yourself, but not for very long. The second contract you get with a different facility, your prices will be adjusted, will be higher. Eventually, with this company, you'll adjust your prices as well, and eventually you'll be able to grow. I would say definitely look into that. If they sign a contract with you, they obviously could be trying to lower their prices. They don't want to pay such high fees anymore. That's okay. That's okay. I encourage you to really look into that. A lot of staffing agencies, that's how they started. And most people won't talk about this. I do, and because that's just what I do. That's how I teach people. I go into the mud, and I've seen a lot of mud. So it's a short video, and I'm going to try to put more videos out there. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I hate doing this, but if you could please hit that subscribe button and hit that like, and I'll see you in the next video.